I'm Kalani, music educator and board certified music therapist, and this is a short talk about social and emotional learning and how, as music educators, musicians, music therapists, we can help people to achieve a lot of the goals that are set forth in this idea of social and emotional learning. So by the time we're done, you'll have some idea of what social emotional learning is and how it can be addressed through musical experiences and activities, primarily in the music education classroom, but also beyond. So let's start by identifying what social emotional learning is, and I'm going to read you the definition that is set forth by the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. And they say that it is the process through which all young people and adults acquire and apply the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to develop healthy identities, manage emotions and achieve personal and collective goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain positive relationships, and make responsible and caring decisions. So we have 5 main areas, and I'm going to talk about each of them. And while I do that, I will also talk about how those areas can be addressed through musical experiences, because my belief is that a lot of these can very easily be achieved through the music classroom or music experience, and that as music educators, social and emotional learning is right in our wheelhouse and has been all along for the whole time. So we don't really have to do too much. We just have to look and see where our process as music educators is aligning with the goals of social and emotional learning. So let's do that. So let's start with the first one, create healthy identities. Another way you could say we're creating a healthy identity is to use the idea of a positive self-regard or self-concept. And lots of people have talked about this throughout time. But what does that look like? One of the ways it looks is just somebody who's willing to jump in both feet and engage in an activity. And music, you know, most people like music. They're ready to go. They're looking forward to it. And they have fun. They enjoy it. So the music space is available, willing, you know, it's open. It's a non-threatening environment. It's a very welcoming environment. But it's also an environment where you can be creative. You can share ideas. You can present yourself, your ideas. You can try things out. You can make mistakes. You can try this, try that, and be creative. And so being creative, taking risks, being vulnerable, you know, presenting your ideas, listening to the ideas of others, and collaborating. We'll get to that one in a second. But all of those things can help somebody develop a positive concept of themselves, right? They can build confidence while they build relationships. But right now we're focusing on healthy identity. So musical experiences, you know, I know from my own experiences as a musician and as a student that when I achieved some skill or I learned something, I felt great. And when I did played something and I got some positive feedback, it's just a really good feeling. It's a great way to build confidence, even though I know for a lot of us, music making can be a little bit scary, but the skilled music educator, as a facilitator of music, knows how to do that well and keep people feeling good. And there's certainly lots of ways that we can do that. We can give people successful experiences where they will leave feeling great about themselves, regardless of the fact that sometimes the opposite may happen in music lessons. But that aside, you know, the vast majority of students in music class really look forward to it. They feel great about it. They do all sorts of things in the class that actually don't ever get seen in the performances that sometimes get put on, you know, throughout the year by the musicians or by the music class. I think the real value is what happens in the class with the moments, you know, personal relationship building and personal confidence building that happens every time we meet in the music. All right, so that's a big plus. Something that pretty much automatically happens in music is somebody building, you know, a healthful identity of themselves. Number 2, managing emotions. And of course, this is a big one for all of us, especially young people, especially where there might be cultural issues, gender issues, gender identity issues, new kid in town issues, all sorts of things come up where we're talking about managing emotions. But I want to be clear that there's lots of opportunities for us to not only express and feel emotions, but then also look at how we can manage them. And we're just going to draw a distinction here between managing, which means what do I do with this emotion that I'm having, and suppressing an emotion, which is how can I get rid of this emotion? How can I not feel it? And we don't want to do that. We want to feel, acknowledge, express, and process emotions. Let them happen. And music is a great space to do that because music really contains, in the scope of music, the depth and breadth of music that we have to work with pretty much covers all of the emotions that we feel, from deep sadness, sorrow, to joy and elation, and everything in between. So there's all sorts of opportunities. As a music therapist, we often use songs in a modality called lyric analysis or lyric discussion. So even if it's talking about the meaning of a song, or in something like guided imagery in music, we might imagine things, draw some artwork to music, express, get in touch with feelings and emotions, and then be able to process them. So the music space is a great space to not only express, but also to identify emotions and feelings that we might be having. And you can help your students do that, and you can do that for yourself. All right, another giant area that everyone is looking for really when they hire an employee or they enter into a relationship of any kind is empathy. Empathy for others. And empathy is really just another way of saying, I see you, I get you, I understand kind of what you might be feeling or what might be going on. And that, of course, as many people have said this, it's different from sympathy. We don't want to confuse sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is just feeling sorry for somebody, basically, or saying, oh, that must suck to be you. That's different from empathy, which is just being able to put yourself in somebody else's position and relate to them. And there are so many ways that we can connect in music, that we could connect. For example, as a music therapist, I might have a client play an instrument, and then I could match what they're doing, match the energy, or mirror what they're doing, and thereby create an empathetic connection. And we actually have a lot of techniques in music therapy that are called empathetic techniques, and they're all music-based. All of this happens within the music without talking, without people having to explain what they're feeling or think about it or intellectualize it. So again, the music space, because it's nonverbal a lot of the time, it's a human, it's a humanity. Music is a humanity. So there's always that human aesthetic element that just, goes where words can't go. And we can create some really strong relationships within music for that reason. And related to that, we're going to talk about and look at supportive relationships. Well, of course, music making involves all sorts of different roles and responsibilities and relationships, whether we're talking about keeping a steady beat, holding a tonality, playing simple chord changes, singing harmony, playing complementary patterns, playing a solo, supporting a soloist, creating spaces for people, filling in spaces that are left by other people, all sorts of relationships that it's just never ending. And, basically any kind of relationship that we have in life, whether that's a partnership, really supportive relationships where we're really holding somebody up, or we're jumping out in front, taking chances, all those kinds of relationships can be created and developed and celebrated through the music experience. Individually, partners, small ensembles, and entire groups. All right, so that is a big one, of course, in music. It is an ensemble. It is a symphony where people can be doing different things and unique things, yet all playing together. All right, so music's right there with you in terms of developing supportive relationships. The last category of these 5 is making responsible and caring decisions. And, that's a big category. Basically, my understanding at this point, and of course we could add to this ad infinitum, but it's essentially, using your own ethics to make decisions, making decisions based on equity, right? Not necessarily equality, like everybody has to have the same thing or do the same thing, but equity, like there's a balance. You know, my opinion matters and your opinion matters. So given that, what should we do? What do I vote for? You know, having a vote in the process. Making decisions based on, you know, what might be good for someone else. You know, supporting somebody who's maybe, you know, feeling a little bit ganged up on, for example, and taking that person, advocating for that person or their cause, for example. So making your decisions that are, like it says, responsible. In other words, I have a role in this. My choice here will affect somebody. It will affect myself. It will affect other people. Therefore, what am I going to do? Caring decisions. What does person X need right now? What could I do for them? Or what could I do for the group? Putting my own, you know, my own impulses and desires in this moment aside. What could I do that would be the most caring decision in this moment? Things like that. And when we play music, we make those decisions. We might say, well, I really want to do this and take a solo, but I'm going to take the role of support right now so somebody else can have that opportunity. Or I might just let somebody else play this instrument because I've had it before and they haven't. You know, so there's all sorts of opportunities to exercise care and attention for others and for ourselves in the music space. So my personal material that I've developed over a series of many years is called Music Mindfulness. That's something that if you'd like, you can listen to it on iTunes through the Evolve podcast. I'm also doing a series on World Drum Club, on World Drum Club YouTube channel. And my take with it is if we take some of the teachings from mindfulness and music, because music already has so much of this stuff ready to go, if we just add in a little bit of mindfulness, which is, you know, increasing our awareness and attention, both in terms of the environment and our inner environment, this relates to emotions and empathy. If we can do that, tune in a little bit more, you know, to a few things, a few points, then we're just so well positioned to deliver just quality social and emotional learning experiences for students of all ages and adults and ourselves, all right, and those we care about. So my name's Kalani, music educator, board certified music therapist. If you'd like to learn more or you have any questions for me, you can contact me through my website, kalanimusic.com. The Evolve podcast is available at kalanidas.com and on iTunes. The website or the YouTube channel is World Drum Club. Feel free to reach out if I can be of any help. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you all in a future video.